Uh,
Want a hot drink, Chris?
Try it out again, Bruce. No, no voice. Lauren, can you hear Bruce?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little bit better.
That's okay.
Okay. All right, we have commenced recording. 6:03. We have Bruce, Chris, Lauren, Michael. All right. It is Thursday, June 8th, 2017, and this is our Wikispeed High Five, Team Wikispeed High Five party. And let's get rolling. I'll start us off. What did we do last week? Amazing amount. We actually got to install the wiper motor today, mounted after testing and iterating to make sure that worked. We were able to test it out with the wiring and then also some power to make sure that it actually oscillates and wipes the correct that we want. Some of the blocks that we had were making sure that we had enough mounting clearance and also the oscillating. So we were able to squeeze out some of those blocks. Eli was spearheading that, and I was there to help him and pair up, and it was excellent in terms of pairing. The next thing that he's super excited about working on, really super excited, was that little demo that we had about the Summit Racing odometer, speedometer readout, which, yeah, if we can get that done too, that would be just as amazing. I think some of us will need to start sprucing out some of our sprints into building what we want to see for the Bellevue College build. That brings us to the next item that we went and did on Wednesday, yesterday. We went to Bellevue College to give a little presentation on what Wikispeed's about, to check out the STEM project, the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math program, and actually got to see the students and their teams demonstrate some of their amazing projects that we've been working on for all quarter. It is really, really amazing to see how some of these young budding minds are taking some of these actions and items that we've been working on and putting it into their own projects and even getting credits for it. It's truly humbling, and it was very, very also humbling to be a part of that. And they're very gracious about how Team Wikispeed is going there to be able to help. I encourage anyone who has the time and the funds to be willing to come fly out. I believe that is going to be July 18th and 19th. We're going to do 2 days, 2 hours per day of our build. We're ordering some T-shirts to be able to provide to the people that signed up for participating in the build, and also for other people who wish to purchase them, or in terms of our donations to Team Wikispeed. And let's see what else. We updated some of our CAD items. We got Gunner added to our Google group so we could continue pairing on looking out for the CAD files, because a lot of that information and solutions that Hubert had gone through is all in there, and that is really just a treasure trove of information and experience that we can glean off of. We requested a balance sheet for Lauren on the assets and liabilities from Teresa, waiting to hear back. Any blocks currently that we have, next week. Next week, continuation on this speedo odometer, and then also we are going to spruce up some of our sprint time to plan out and build more of what we need for the Bellevue College build. And blocks. Currently, we're not seeing much of blocks, so we should be okay. No, there is a block. We're looking for the VSS, which is our, I think, velocity controller on the R180 system and also schematics. So if we can figure out where that is on the wiring, then we're able to take that, maybe Arduino it or pair it up to test and see if it'll work. We have some hoses we can connect to the car, turn it on, put a little bit of momentum into the wheels. Currently the wheels are off, the drivetrain, to make it go, to see if that readout is actually working, and then test it into that speedo. If we have all that in place, it would just be fantastic, amazing. Then we probably break out some of those story items, so that we can for that to either the build, or if Eli wants to continue to build on that, then that's amazing. The first part of that demo is done. The next item, I believe, is bleeding out the brakes, so I'll be doing that while the StandUp is being uploaded once we finish up here. And that's a possible block that I have. So thank you very much, and who would like to go next?
Says Lauren. Lauren Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia. I'm this week I updated the used the tax returns that I got from Joe to update the charitable status application, so it now covers 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 5 years, which is what it's supposed to. But it's brought up to the present. And actually, I just committed in the last 15 minutes. I committed the latest version, and I think I'm going to ask Joe to download them. I think the actual application is done. I think it's good enough. It is missing the assets, but those could be written in. Basically, maybe he'll get them first. I don't know. I'm working on updating. There's a not otherwise classified sheet that takes forever to update, but I'm well into it. So I think everything will come together. I'm hoping everything will come together this week. But anyway, I got it to the point where I committed the latest one to the SourceForge Git repository. Then in terms of coming week, get a hold of Joe, get him to sign any necessary changes, and get it sent off. Blocks are the rest of my life, but anyway, I actually prioritize the Wikispeed for now, because it's more like I'm going to be concentrating on other things for a while. Also coming week maybe another thing I did this week was I went to a Linux there's a little Linux group even on this little tiny island of 5,000 people, and getting really good. I mean, there's unbelievable talent here. So I've got advice on how to set up and start to play with the things that I talked about. I want to get an accounting system that everybody likes, that works from any device, and that means that you can do financial reports and taxes in like 15 minutes or something like that. So that's something I hope to make a little more progress. That'll be a little, and that's it from Gabriel.
Thank you very much, Lauren. And who would like to go next? Michael?
I can go next.
All right.
I sent an email. Hopefully you guys can actually hear me. Did a little bit of work on the Polaris. Got some of the batteries out. Some of them are hooch, some of them aren't. A little bit of work on the Why Wikispeed Works document. Hopefully some of it made sense. And that's pretty much it for this week, though. I guess I invited someone to the Google group, because that's not quite automated all the way. Chris is working on that, I think. And next week I will be continuing to work on the Polaris EVs, see if I can keep them from rusting out from under me. And that's about it for me. Who would like to go next?
Michael, any blocks, by the way?
Sorry about that. No blocks. And it's Michael Wolchuk from Saskatoon.
Very good. Thank you. Perfect timing. Chris is back. Sorry, Bruce, but Chris, go. You're up next.
Uh-oh. Give me just a second to pull my notes up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is Chris Wallace. I'm the product owner of the Burleson, Texas, USA Microfactory. And last week for Wikispeed, I really did not get that much done. I just answered some emails on the Team Wikispeed Google Group forum. I verified that Gunnar had access to the Google Group, and then I upgraded William's access on the Google Group to owner, so he could actually add members in the future. For next week, I plan on doing everything I planned on doing last week. So I need to fix the CSS formatting on blog post. In the shop, I'll assemble the Harbor Freight's parts bin. I need to build a backlog in the shop for attaching the steering wheel bracket, basically, for manufacturing the bracket. And I'm still working on the issues with the new team member emails that are sent to the admin. And I want to try to iterate through the Scrum and hardware guide to add some updates from the team and community. And hopefully I will be able to finish the table of contents for the Scrum Guide Esperanto translation. And I think that's really it I have here. The only blocks I have is that I just started my last semester at A&M, and that always kind of slows down my Wikispeed velocity. So over the next month or so, I'll probably, be just not getting quite as much done. And that wraps it up for me. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chris. Glad we got to get you back on there before more technical difficulties sometimes. Bruce, please take it away.
This is Bruce Connor from Tewksbury, Massachusetts. Let's see, it was a relatively slow week for me. My big win was getting rid of that block with the geomagic stuff. I finally found those tutorials. Unbelievable. Google was of no help, interestingly enough. So, go figure. I was just basically digging and digging and digging through the site, and there it was. So, okay. I haven't looked at too many of them, but they look good, and it looks detailed enough that we'll probably be able to get some actual training done. So, I'm hoping that's the case. Other than that, been working on tooling and things like that. I still have a block with getting information about starting a public garage. So I don't know, William, are you the one to talk to at this point? I know I was going to talk to Chris about, okay, yeah, because, if you can give me some insights on kind of how you do things out there in Washington, that'd be great. We can talk about that later. Set something up. I don't have too much else, I don't think. I mean, I was looking at some suspension design stuff and nothing really solid though. So yeah, basically cleared one block, still have another. That's about it.
And what would be the next items for next week? I'm assuming and aiming that we're going to clear you for this next block of what some of the framework to have a public garage, what that looks like.
Next week, yeah, if we can get that cleared, I guess I'm going to start looking for, possible space and, figure that out and start looking for maybe some, outside funding and things like that. And maybe figure some kind of a forum for getting people to be interested in it, figure out how to, publicize it. I also am signed up for a couple more Scrumming classes. I'm going to get my certified product owner, and I'm going to do the Scrum at Scale stuff, so that all went through as well. It's all part of the training program, so we can do the Wikispeed hardware coaches thing, which would be cool. I haven't heard back from Joe on getting a backlog on that yet, so I'm hoping to see that too.
Excellent. Thank you all very much. That concludes our stand-up, which brings us to our retrospective. This has been continually a great week. I think still there could be a little bit more things I could tweak, and I'm going to give myself a 9 out of 10. And also for the team, I want to give 9 out of 10. We're moving quite a bit of blocks, and I think we could do a little bit more. I was hoping and aiming to clear Bruce for that as well. So I'm going to bring that closer to the forefront as well. Probably our top 3 items for Linwood, Washington, to help Bruce move that block. And a process improvement, I will be bringing up what the recycled item is. Making my computer work hard for its money. That is not from Wikispeed. Yes. Release for Wikispeed works. Update trail of backgrounds, yes. Okay, so process improvement is update the trail of background, which is more of a task item. However, the other item would be how do we attract more women volunteers? I mean, the women in engineering and technology. If there's anything different that we can cater to them, perhaps embrace more of the social impact that we have. I think that's also a good idea. It will diversify our volunteers as well. So something to think about. And who would like, or actually let's continue with the order that we had previously. Lauren, I think you were next.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm let's see, yeah. So I'm gonna have to bump William up to a 15 because I want to claim an 8, but he's done twice as much as. So I'm bumping William up to a 15, and I'm 8. And for the team, 10. And process improvement. Yeah, I kind of just second the one I suggested last week, attracting more women. So that's it for me.
Thank you very much, Lauren. I believe Michael, you were up next.
Yep. I think I gave myself a 6 and the team a 9. I'm trying to work on paring down my list so that it's actually achievable.
Actually, I think I read 7, and you're going to disagree with that 6 and bump you up to 7.
Okay. I don't actually remember, to be perfectly honest. And actually, I don't have a process improvement, so I will wait eagerly to hear all the other process improvements that are suggested. That's it for me.
Thank you, Michael. And I believe, Chris, you are up next.
Okay, I'm going to go with 5 for me, actually, because I got sidetracked with a bunch of other projects this week and hardly did anything Wikispeed related. Definitely a 9 for the team. And for a process improvement, I didn't actually write anything down, but I would say that if Bruce's block gets removed, it would be interesting to maybe see some of this get documented. So that, how to open a Wikispeed shop, maybe a little FAQ that could be posted somewhere. And that wraps it up for me.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, let's see. I give myself an 8, maybe a 9. I'm pretty pleased with that geomagic fix. That was something that was definitely bugging me. So not a lot done, but a big win on that one. And definitely a 9 for the team. I mean, you're just chugging along, and it's just great. And the enthusiasm's there. I'm always happy to be here, and I'm glad to be back. Yeah, as for process improvement, I like last week's suggestion very much. However, it seems kind of, I don't know, a little too nebulous, maybe. Maybe what we need to do is break that down a little bit and figure out why is it that we're not just spontaneously getting women interested in this? What is it about what we do that is either uninteresting, or what is it maybe we could do that is interesting, and maybe be a little more specific about that? I don't know. That seemed like a reasonable improvement to make. Maybe just kind of get some concrete suggestions or something like that by next week.
That'd be good. I'll probably bring that item into our backlog and see what we can ask around, and even the previous volunteers. If there's some time between now and our next stand-up, which is what are some of the people want out there. I'll see if we can use Facebook as well as a means. Let's see. And Chris, I'd actually say no. Giving me the power and adding Gunner to the Google groups, that was all at least a multiple person effort, and that's huge. That's it's a big blog. It's like, I have no power, but you gave me power, so I want to give you a little bit more than that. But it's up to you. So the two process improvements I heard was one, come up with an epic to figure out how we can diversify our gender volunteers, and two, if and when the block for Bruce has been removed, then put together an FAQ as best as a demo video would be great on how to set up your own Team Wikispeed shop. So number 2, FAQ, how to set up your own Wikispeed shop, and number 1 is an epic to diversify our volunteers in terms of gender. Everyone ready to vote? Please voice your opinion. Okay. On a count of 1, from 3, 2, 1. Michael, I can't see your hand. Michael?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying enough attention. I don't know what the options are.
Okay. Okay. Number 1 is to start an epic that figures out how to diversify our volunteers gender-wise. Number 2 is an FAQ on how to start your own Team Wikispeed shop.
Okay, I'll go with number 1.
Number
My
1.
video feed is going to be really horrid. So.
Okay, so we have 3 2s and 2 1s. All right, Lauren, you got that? Looks like you're on it. Lauren, you're muted. Go ahead, Bruce.
I may actually be able to help out with putting together some kind of a video for that once we get something established. I just got an account with Powtoon, so maybe I can put together some sort of kind of spiffy looking thing, saying, are you interested in starting your own garage?
Yeah.
So,
I've never heard of that, but I'm interested. That would be really exciting. Be on a video.
I'm sure you've seen their output. It's like little cartoon type stuff. It's really quite interesting, but it looks very useful. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. That's amazing, folks. We should put that in there. That would be fun. I'd love to iterate on that too. Okay, so that concludes then our retrospective. I think I have some numbers there. I'll be able to crunch them a little bit more and then save them into our data. I think I see Lauren is also on there too, helping out. That's awesome to swarm. That brings us to crosstalk. Any backlog items that we would like to discuss? The floor is all yours, folks.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have anything. I'm just trying to write down the process improvement.
Okay. Chris, I think you said you had, or it looked like you had something?
That if some kind of hangout or something is scheduled for starting or opening a Wikispeed shop, y'all can CC me on that if I have the bandwidth. I'd love to join up and participate on it. I'm going to jump off the call. I ate way too much Mexican food a little bit ago, and I had to take a nap now. so I hope y'all have a nice evening.
Sounds good. And absolutely, definitely we'll CC you. Thank you, Chris. Have a good night.
William, do you have the averages on the, you may have said them, but the average personal and average team?
I have the personal for the team. I did not yet.
Sorry, I didn't know you were on there.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to write the team down. I was going a little too slow.
Okay, but I'll leave that with you.
Okay.
I put down the gender diversity as the second choice.
Okay.
And the fact on starting Wikispeed shop is the first choice. And I'm going to sign off. I got a concert to go to at 7, so.
That's fun. All right. Get some lead time. Well, thank you, Lauren, and enjoy.
Okay. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye. All right. That leaves Bruce, Michael, and I. Anything to discuss, or we can actually start in on removing that block for you, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start now, that'd be fine.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. What's the first item that...
Geez, I probably should have broken this down, shouldn't I?
It's okay. We'll start somewhere.
It's so open-ended. I just, obviously there are, legal requirements and insurance requirements, and I don't know how you're funding it out there, whether it's, through your own money, preferably using somebody else's money is always good, or getting some kind of, support from some other group or something. I don't know. And I don't know how that meshes with, Wikispeed's legal situation either, whether, funding from outside sources like that is a problem. I don't know. So
not at all. And
okay,
we get funding from actually Scrum Inc., well, more directly, Joe Justice, since this is his hobby company. And we also have other people and clients that actually donate money too, that say, yeah, I want to buy a car. Here's $25,000. Give it to me when it's ready and let me know. And we have that in the queue as well. As far as legality with the state, please do check with Massachusetts. I'm not as familiar with that as to Washington State. Washington State, it's our own garage, and we can build a car in there if we want, and we can build anything that's real legal. Since this is part of Team Wikispeed, we have our real legal manufacturing, micro manufacturing certifications and whatnot.
Okay, so would something I set up fall under that umbrella, or would I be separate?
You would. It would fall under that umbrella. You would have your own designation in place, and that you're part of the Team Wikispeed, and your shop is located there. And whatever the state's requirements are for building something like that, then those are the things that you'll have to cater to.
Outside my wheelhouse, but what the heck?
Yeah. Were you thinking of using your own home or having a designated garage space?
I think it would be a designated garage space.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm building in my own home now, and it's like, I don't want to bring people in with my wife with me.
That's true. There's always that. So, yeah.
Yep. It's just a security issue. So, I'd rather have, a garage somewhere with more space too. At least 3 days, something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
But real estate's expensive out here, and so it might have to be up in like New Hampshire someplace, or I just don't know, and so I'm just fishing around and trying to figure out how do I get that first step as to what sort of legal entity is it, how tightly coupled is it to Wikispeed Linwood. Do I fall into your insurance policies, or things of that nature? Just a lot of the logistics as to how much am I on my own, how much is actually coupled with you guys, or do you care if I make my own schism in the thing, go off on my own, whatever. I don't want to break the model that you've got going. So I'm just unaware of what's available and what the usual procedure is, and how things, like how did Burleson start, and things of that sort. So kind of general guidelines along those ways. And and also sponsorship, obviously. If you've got sponsors out there, or, well, Scrum Inc. is here in the Boston area, so I don't know if they would kick in too. If and would we want to use it for doing trainings and things like that? Because I would love to do trainings where we have people assemble a car. If we have a chassis, they can put together, like I've seen in Joe's videos. That'd be super. I'd love to do stuff like that.
And that would be perfect. I mean, that would save Scrum Inc. so much more cost and especially travel time, because
I
a
would
few
think
times,
so.
yeah, they'd had to truck in something from Maryland just to do it at Scrum Inc. But if there was something a lot closer, or even they can take the half-day class right, and I'm like, hey, or this is a separate day of on-hands build, let's do it here at Team Wikispeed, put it on by Bruce Connor. He's the product owner, and of course, he's also Scrum certified. And that would be huge. I would definitely speak with Scrum Inc. to some level to gauge what type of involvement and commitment that they can do, and that way then it'll probably help to figure out determine the location where you want your shop to be and how much of a size and what kind of tools you'll need. The tools part could probably come later. Most of the tools are just Harbor Freight tools that we can get on cheap, and the ones that we keep breaking, we actually started upgrading, getting them better ones through Amazon and other different vendors.
Yeah, I could see maybe approaching one of the tool companies, somebody like Snap-on would be great to have as a sponsor, and say, hey, donate tools or something.
Yeah.
Factory seconds, I don't care.
Yeah, or at least cost-wise, at least at their cost, and it's like, oh, great, the markup is huge.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, exactly. And because we have Harbor Freight around here, and I could certainly stock up on those. But yeah, they do break, and after a while, what gets worn out. The 10mm sockets. You better buy like 25 extras, and it's just the way it is. In a foreign car, you want that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay. So who at Scrum Inc. is probably the person to talk to other than Joe?
That is a good question. Last time I spoke with them, they're a bit understaffed. But I would direct you to either Sean or Mark. I think Jess right now, Jessica, she goes by Jess, is in the recruiting aspect of it. If Sean or Mark has some bandwidth, I would definitely speak with them. If you don't get a chance to talk to them, I can ask them the next time I get to speak with them on a side note. So, yeah, I believe sometime early next week I'll have a chance to speak with them. So I'll put it up on there in case they haven't connected with you, or you haven't connected with them yet.
Yeah, and I'm going to be down there doing the training on the 22nd, I think. So we'll have the time after the training. I could probably, I ran into Sean last time. So.
Oh, nice. 22nd. Good to know. In case they do invite me out there, I'll remember that.
22nd and 23rd.
Okay. I think is that Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Excellent. Well, very good.
So there's that, and I don't know. Do we have any sources for materials out here that are known?
Oh.
Or are we still? Is that pretty much on me? I've been looking, and I've found some, but I don't know whether I've got the cheapest. And I'd love to be able to.
True. Unfortunately, I don't have too much experience in terms of ordering. I would probably check that up with Hubert Smits. He's also on the Google Groups and on the Team Wikispeed website.
He's in Denver, right?
He's in Denver. I wondered if he has sourced them locally or if it's something that's online order. I know Big Blue Saw does a lot of our water cutting for our suspension and pedal plates and pieces like that. For the main H-frame, box frame chassis itself, a lot of that raw material, that is probably something that we source either locally or online. Chris Wallace obviously would be the other one that we could source. I want to say Michael Lolchek, but I know he's in Canada, so he may have also done something that's more local to him.
Yeah, because I've tried to. Oops, I've got some bad feedback here.
Oh.
There you go.
Let me mute me.
All right. Cool. Thanks. Yeah, it's getting really confusing. Yeah, I've called around, and apparently there are no truly local suppliers of aluminum here, so it all has to be shipped in from Pennsylvania. So I don't know whether there's any other options than that. And if anybody knows, that'd be great. I'd love to hear from them. But I think.
It's not the- you can find a local dock supplier. They seem to make a lot of stuff out of tubular aluminum.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So the docks, the boat lifts, that's the local
Okay.
place I get from actually makes those in-house. They bring the aluminum in, but they weld up and bolt up the pieces to make docks and lifts.
Thanks, Michael. That's good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, God knows we get enough docks out here with the ocean, so that should be a good source.
Fantastic. Is that enough to help you get started, or what are the other ones? Keep them coming.
Ah, boy, I'm trying to think. In terms of just recruiting local people, what have you used?
That is a great question. So far, we've just put out signs. However, after that, we started actually taking in interns from local colleges. So there's a Edmonds Community College that they've been offering local interns. Also, somehow we just get listed on the other local college, which is my old alma mater before it was a community college, which is Bellevue College. For some reason, their STEM department, they've listed us as one of the go-to places for internships. And so every other quarter, for about 2 years ago, they've had volunteers come in. They're like, hey, when's a good time for me to come in? I'm like, well, Thursdays are always definitely solid days. Well, there's usually at least one person here. Well, how many people show up? Like, sometimes there's 20, sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's just me. And so, sometimes they'll show up like, this is great, and quarters change, so they'll figure out what schedules work and not work. I'd say posting some of the videos on your local Facebook page. The colleges are good areas to shoot for. Any of the tech startup or tech meetup places will be excellent as well. If there's any makerspace, that type of deal, that's also some good ones.
Okay.
We've also worked with a few number of our local vendors. So there's Fusions 360 that are local. So we invited them to do a professional development with other volunteers as well and other students, and it was great. We had a 30-plus person bill. They provided beverages, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, as well as they brought in the pizza,
Nice.
and it was a great, fantastic PR and a great building event for them and as well as ourselves. And a lot of these people are really excited to work on cars just because this is for work. I'm like, sure, you can call this for work, but for us, it's volunteering, and it worked out. Those are some of the avenues I'd recommend and trying out. We're trying to build up more of this one sheet so we can cater it to building more of a digital platform so that we can get closer to that tipping point. So for those people who are actually opening up the shops, people can look for them either on our website and or on Facebook, social media wise, to find out like what's a local closer shop they can get to and build that.
Just occurred to me maybe Scrum Inc. would also be a venue for, since they're doing classes down in Boston. I don't know, how much they want to promote that side of things, because I know this is kind of Joe's hobby thing. What's the actual relationship with Scrum Inc. there? Is there any, or is it really his separate kind of hobby horse?
That's a really good question. So how this turned about was that Joe was a consultant at a local consulting company that recently got bought out by a really large major consulting company. And when Scrum Inc. was writing this book called The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time, the Scrum book, Jeff asked JJ, his son, so this guy has his own hobby company who uses Scrum, that book, right? Who uses Scrum on hardware. It's amazing. Not to mention, he also gave a TED Talks. So why isn't he working with us? And the result was Joe is now the president of hardware at Scrum Inc. So they have a really close relationship in that Joe's grown this Scrum for a hardware sector within Scrum Inc. in that realm to just huge. Not even 3 years later, Hubert Smith, came here and took a class with among other 32 trainers from all over the world and thought this is a great idea also. So recently this year at the Agile Alliance in San Diego. That car that was built, that was probably one of the first ones that Joe was not a part of. That it was fully done by Hubert Smith. It was amazing. Like, wow, this is happening. This is a thing that
Wow.
people
Cool.
want to take this type of knowledge and apply it and show it and share it to other people that want to train and use this as well.
Good.
So,
Good.
does that
Well,
answer your question?
Definitely need that out here too. So
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it would
All right.
behoove them a lot to have something a lot closer, and also product owned by someone who has probably twice as much experience as I have in Scrum and Agile. So I full on support you in whatever knowledge that we can give you and push forward to you. Like, yes, let's
Great.
get it.
okay. So if I've got questions for you, do you want me to post them on the group board, or do you want me to post them to you individually? Maybe you and Chris.
Yeah, let's do the group board for now. And if it wasn't answered by any of them, then we can put them more in a close loop, the three of us. If it also is getting a lot of back and forth, then let's move it forward.
Yeah,
to
just
more.
I don't know how much transparency we want to have while we're just kind of woodshedding things. So
Yeah, we don't want to also bombard everybody's inbox with our chatter. And a lot of times, if we can set up a video chat like this, I think would get through a lot of those items too. So
I think so.
yeah,
All right.
would it help to create a backlog for you? And
Yeah, that's actually probably a pretty good idea.
okay,
So yeah, if you want to do that, and also you're going to make backlog items for the retro item, for like the documentation of this process as well.
yeah, for setting up a Team Wikispeed garage.
Okay, so I can pick up some of that stuff as backlog items. And
Oh, guys, I gotta go. So
yeah, it's getting late.
connected.
Okay, Michael, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, so Bruce, then you're on our Trello, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So would this be on the distributed team?
Yeah,
Trello?
I'm gonna put this on the
Okay.
distributed team. I'm gonna probably make it separate and not be on the website, so it'll be just somewhere in the backlog under doing, and I'll create that,
All
and then I'll make a to-do list, and in that list will be some of the things that people will be addressing.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, if you can, get war stories. Were you around when the Linwood garage started?
No, so this
Okay.
this shop started, I believe, in Colorado from Joe's previous resident, and so when they moved out here to Seattle, him and his wife, they were looking specifically for like, okay, I need at least a 3 or 4 bay garage, and the closest thing within their budget was this one here, and now I think it'd be even harder because it's just real estate out in Seattle is just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the same out here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So okay, well, one step at a time. We'll see if this is feasible. I'm hoping it is, and because I'd love to be able to do it. A, number one, and B, I think it'd be great as a training center, and I think it just has a lot of advantages. If we can pull it off, if I can get it funded, because I like Mike was saying, none of us are rich here. We're all volunteers, so
It's true. It's true. And you're right. Some of the things to think about would be, what is the minimum amount and stuff that you need to actually have a build. So if we can
right.
get a build done, you don't have to have an engine module. I think at least just having the frame and maybe a shell. I know you could probably buy a shell from one of the people that has one. I think we have a shell too.
Okay. How much do those go for?
I think the shells, depending, they're probably 5,000 or 7,000. I know, who was it? Rob Morbacher. He's the one that actually designs a lot of the shells. I know he's building a new hardtop one. That one's probably going to cost 10,000 because he's actually cutting the foam all brand new. This is just a whole
Wow.
new one. Yeah. So
Okay.
of course the initial ones are usually, a little bit more.
Yeah, that's going to push the price up.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
It does. I mean, the initial ones, that is. Until he gets more and more to recoup some of that initial setup phase.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and if he has like an experimental one that didn't come out as well as it might have. Maybe we can use that as a build thing too. So
True.
I don't know, do you talk to him?
We do, and he's actually in the team thread. He's just, I think,
Oh, okay.
he's probably doing a lot more of the work right now, so he's not able to join some of the thread. But before, in previous stand-ups that he's participated when he can. Sometimes it's probably due to his work, because some of that is confidential. It's like, okay, I get it, can't talk about it. So
Yeah, for sure.
definitely.
Okay, well that's cool. I think that'll get us going, and I'll look for those in the Trello board, and maybe we can set up a chat. I don't know what times are good for you and for Chris, but I can try and make myself available. Tuesday nights are about the only night that I'm not available.
Tuesdays is not okay.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and of course Thursdays are pretty booked up right now. I usually have similar things, meetings, this evening after working hours. Just when we have the time right now in the world to do as much as we can about what we love. I'll see what I can do for perhaps a Monday.
Okay.
And since it's already Thursday, probably a Monday is likely the best. Tomorrow's probably a little too last minute, but
Oh yeah.
we do want to give ourselves a bit of time to get through at least some of the backlog items created and do a little refinement and also answer some of those items.
Yeah.
So ideally, it looks like maybe Monday. Okay?
Okay. Yeah,
All
sounds
right.
good.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you.
I'll let you know. Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome.
Good night.
Have a good night.